everybody. I'm so glad that you're here. I have to tell you guys something. This has been one of the most exciting events for me, well, this year so far on January 9th. But it's been just a real pleasure to be able to interact with you and get your comments and receive your questions and be able to interact with you more. As you know, I am the owner of Blue Osa Yoga Retreat, and I spend a lot of my time in Costa Rica at Blue Osa. And so it's really hard for me to hear from you and understand how I can serve you better and what kind of questions you have, and et cetera, et cetera. Please kindly remember that I'll be doing a Q&A at the end. So if you want to stick around and ask any questions, please feel free to do that. I also want to start off like we have been doing the last couple of days by asking you guys, how are you feeling? And so one of the ideas is that you guys give me comments. Please give me a thumbs up if you're alive. Give me a thumbs down if you're not. Kind of do an internal check-in and see how are you feeling in your body right now. On a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being absolutely no pain, yay! Maybe 1 having a little bit of, maybe just a little bit of an ache, and then all the way up to 10, oh my God, I need to be in the hospital right now. And also kind of check in, where are you feeling the pain? Is it in your knees, your hips, your ankles, your lower back, which is going to be our conversation today, and maybe neck or shoulders, and even maybe in the arms or wrists. So please give me a number and let me know where that pain is. But also, please come back and comment at the end and just kind of say, hey, it got a little better. Oh my God, the pain is completely gone. Oh my God, I'm actually a lot worse right now. So one of the experiments that I want to invite you to do is come down, sit down like I'm doing, and then just come and stand up. Maybe you can do it now or before we start our practice, and we can just kind of see like how we start to move once the muscles are doing better, once the muscles are engaging. So one of the biggest things, and this is going to kind of tie into what I want to share with you guys today, from my own journey, one of the hardest things I think I've had to deal with, especially in the last 6-7 years, but if truth be told, it's actually happened a lot longer than that, is a disc herniation. I've had a herniation in my lower back. And I didn't really know that until around the age of 42, 43. But once I understood what was going on, things started to make a lot more sense. And a lot of pain in our hips and in our glutes and even in our knees and ankles can be a result, in, I would actually say, in my humble opinion, is more likely the result of a herniated disc, a disc herniation. Now, how do you know if you have one? Well, you have to go and get an x-ray. And even a little bit of a herniation can start to play havoc in your body. Now, in the last couple of days, one of the things that I keep coming back to is that the reason why muscle activation works so well is because it reestablishes this communication system between the brain and the muscles. So there's a that communication system stops or becomes compromised due to stress, trauma, and overuse. The result of stress and trauma is inflammation, okay? So if there's inflammation going on, that communication system is going to break down. Now, just think about it for a second. If we have a breakdown of communication right in our spine, meaning that messages can't go down, do you think that's going to impact the way that your muscles contract in your legs? Absolutely. So what we need to do is get the muscles stabilized in the back, get the spine stabilized, and remember that muscles move bones and stabilize joints. So we need to get those muscles stabilizing the spine so that communication system starts to go down and into the muscles in the lower hemisphere. One of the things, and I don't want to harp on this too much, but if we're going to be stretching, so a common pose to do if you've got hip pain, for example, is we got to open those hips, is pigeon pose. And what this pose does is two things. One, it exacerbates, it makes that disc herniation worse. If you look at what's going on in pigeon pose, it actually pushes the lower back more into flexion. So if you've got this flexion going on, it's going to make that problem worse. The second thing that pigeon pose does, of course, you guys know, is it actually causes more stress in the neuromuscular connection between the brain and the muscles. Therefore, the muscles lose their ability to contract on demand, and stabilize joints. What I want to share with you guys today is one of my favorite poses. And I'm going to, just for full disclosure, it's one of the poses that people hate the most. And the reason why that people hate it the most is because this pose isolates a really important muscle right in the vertebrae of the spine. So if you kind of go in and you feel where your spine is, you feel your vertebrae, right, the muscle that's right inside there is a muscle called the multifidus. And the multifidus never gets any press. In fact, you probably have never heard of the multifidus unless you've studied with me. I'm one of the only people in the world that consistently talks about the multifidus, because if you look at your anatomy app and look at what the multifidus is doing, it literally holds the vertebrae in place. Remember, muscles move bones and muscles stabilize joints. If they're not doing their job properly, the joints become compromised and the result is stress. So this pose that we're going to do today, this muscle activation pose, is one of my top poses. But again, people don't like it. They resist it constantly. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you something. It's going to take the majority of you, not all of you, but the majority of you, 6 months to 2 years to love this pose. And if I'm really honest with myself, I'm going to tell you it took me a lot longer to like this pose. I always did it begrudgingly and with a lot of resistance. Now, one of the things about the multifidus, it's interesting, is it runs from sacrum all the way up to the base of the neck. So it's an important muscle to not only just stabilize the lower back, but also the whole vertebrae. The story I want to tell you, and it kind of ties into the theme today of why muscle activation works so well. Muscle activation begins to restore confidence in our bodies. Now, I'm not talking about the confidence of how you look, or, do you have too much weight? Do you not have enough weight? Do you have big muscles? No, whatever. What I'm talking about is that you feel confident in your body. That confidence that leads to trust. Do you trust your body? When I broke my leg many years ago, I can tell you something. I did not trust my body going downstairs for a long time, especially in New York City. Some of the stairs get really dodgy, and in the wintertime they also get icy. And I just didn't trust my body. I would hold the railing for dear life. Even 6 months or 12 months later, I still didn't trust my body. And the times that I've hurt myself, it's taken me a lot longer to regain that trust. When we do muscle activation, I think one of the biggest gifts of this practice is it will restore trust in your body. And the simple answer is why? Or the simple answer to the question why is that it gives your body, it gives your muscles back that ability to contract and contract on demand. Very quick story. I was leaving for Greece and I was just going away for about 2.5 months. Before I left for Greece, I hadn't worked out, I hadn't done any exercise for it was about a month and a half or so. I then went to the gym and went in with this very much a weekend warrior attitude, and I gave it all I got, and I really messed my back up. I was already unstable going into the gym, and then I added a whole bunch of stress. My back seized up. That's how I started my trip in Greece. But what happened is that herniated disc actually got really worse. And one of the things that I found interesting was as I was walking and I was putting one foot down, if my heel hit the ground in a certain way, oh my God, it sent shocks up my spine. And not in a good way. But doing this pose helped me. And it was fascinating to see that before, my back was a mess. Do this pose and I regained some stability. Now, how long did it last for? Not a long time. It took me about 2 to 3 weeks of constantly doing these muscle activations to get back to a really good place. And you can get back to a good place really quickly if you do these practices. It will give you that ability to regain trust of your body because your muscles start working properly. Remember, in our definition of muscles working properly means that they have the ability to contract and contract on demand. Okay, so let's dive into this practice today, or else I'm just going to keep talking away with you guys. So what I'm going to do for today is actually we're going to start by doing our 3 muscle activations that we do every day, and then we're going to finish with this pose called quadruped. Quadruped means coming on all fours, and I'll take you through the points of how to strengthen your multifidus. This is one of those poses or one of those muscle activations, depending on where you are in your own pain journey, do it 4 to 7 times a week, okay? I try and do it at least 4 times a week, more if I feel like I've been sitting too much or doing things to kind of like that are not good for my lower back. So this is a great pose to do to start reestablishing the lordotic curve, but also getting those muscles strong. So let's start by coming onto our backs, please. We're going to do our 3 muscle activation practices. I've gone through this a few times already with you guys, but I'm going to do it again in this video. Simply bring your knees up. You're going to bring your hands towards your knees. And the heel of your hand is going to come just sort of in where the patella is, into that space right there. So press the knees into the hands and then hold it there for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, one other thing to kind of think about, see if you can feel where your pubic bone is. Okay? If your hand is in your genitals, you've gone too far. It might feel good, but don't put it down that far. That's not where your pubic bone is. Bring the hand up just a little bit more. And right there is actually a really cool place called the pubic symphysis or pubis symphysis. Now, when you're doing this knee thing, think about the pubis symphysis moving towards the navel. Don't tuck the tailbone. Just see if you can just move it up a little bit. When I say move it up a little bit, that can be like a 1/8 of an inch. So it doesn't have to be that much. Bring your knees up. Push your knees into your hands. So you're not pushing with your hands. Your hands are there like a wall, and your knees are coming into your hands, and then relax. This starts to activate all of the muscles of the core. This is, by the way, one of the muscle activations I did every single day in Greece. And sometimes I would do it twice a day. So this is such a great one because so much of the stability in the lower back is dependent on how well your core is activated. Bring the feet down. Let's do it again. Bring the knees up. Press the knees into the hands. Pull the pubic bone, the pubic symphysis, towards the navel a little bit. And then back down. We'll do it one more time. Bring the knees up. If you're in your day and you feel like you're having some back pain or your back is tweaking a little bit, bring the feet down. Do this muscle activation and let me know how it goes for you. Let's do our psoas major muscle activation. So bring the left ankle across the right knee. Bring your right hand towards the left knee. Remember to look at where the kneecap is and just bring your heel of your hand just sort of underneath that. Now, don't lift your shoulder up to reach for the knee because the knee is now going to push into the hand. So I'm going to say that again. Knee to hand. Press the knee to hand. And then relax. And do it again. Press the knee into the hand. And then relax. And press the knee into the hand. And relax. And press the knee into the hand. With your left hand, with your left fingers, see if you can again find the psoas muscle kind of popping out there. And then relax. And then press the knee into the hands. Why is this one on our list every day? Because the psoas is one of those muscles that's responsible, relax, and do it again, for maintaining the integrity, the structural integrity of the lower back. And it's constantly being compromised. Relax and do it again. And relax. Let's switch legs. Bend the left knee, bring the right ankle across the left knee. Bring the left hand again towards the knee. Now, notice that I'm not reaching up for it. The left hand is coming towards the knee. The knee now moves into the hand here. And 3, 4, 5, and 6, and relax. See if you can feel the psoas popping out with your right hand. Do it again, and relax. And do it again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and relax. And do it again. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and relax. And do it again for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and relax. And do it again. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and relax. And do it again. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Really good. So let's come on over onto our stomachs and we're going to do our Superman pose now. So here, just rest your forehead down and then again, lift your legs and your chest up. Now, when I was in Greece and I had that problem with my lower back, I could barely do this. Come on down and relax. So what I did was I just did what I could do. And if you look at me, you can see I barely am lifting off the ground. This is about as much as I can do. But if you do this, you can start to feel the lower back muscles engaging. That's all it takes to reestablish that proprioception, that brain or central nervous system to muscle connection. It's reestablishing the telephone line between our brain and our muscles, and it improves their ability to contract and contract on demand. So let's do it again. Lift the legs up, lift the chest, and then come on down, and come on up, and then come on down, and then come on up, lift up as much as you can now, or go to your own range of motion. So many knee problems. I know some of you were saying that you have knee problems are coming from these back extensor muscles not working properly. Come on up again. And then come on down and we'll do it one more time. Come on up. And if you would like to go for walks, do this pose before you go for walks, before you exercise, before you garden. And come on down. All right, so I'm going to get my little towel here, And because I have bony knees, and I'm going to put my knees on there, okay? And what you need to do is come onto all fours. Now, someone was asking the other day about chair yoga. There is a variation of doing this on a chair or with a chair. You're actually standing while you're doing it. If it's really difficult, if you're kind of in that kind of population that finds it challenging to come onto all fours, I'm sorry. You'll have to catch me on another episode of how to do this, in a different way. But if you are able to come onto all fours, just again, rest your knees onto a blanket or something if you're like me and have bony knees. And what you're going to do here is we'll start with our left leg. You're going to lift the left leg up. Now remember, this is the multifidus we're working on. Now with the left leg lifting, lower that left hip. Because notice like when I lifted my left leg, I did this. Lower that left hip. Now, if you can, bring your right hand behind you and just kind of feel the sacrum, that it's balanced. This is so important, this part, that the hips are square, that you're not lifting that left hip up. But the left leg is now lifting. And if you bring your hand to your lower back, you're going to feel some muscles in your spine starting to engage, and then bring the knee down. It was probably a little bit of a long time, I'm sorry. Bring the right leg up. Now lower the hip. And bring your left hand, if you can, to your sacrum and just feel that it's balanced, but then lift the leg up higher, and do you feel the muscles in your lower back starting to engage? So this is sort of the first part of this practice. Lower the knee down, lift the left leg up, lower the hip, and then lift the leg up higher. If this is all you can do, this is going to be so great for you. Oh my goodness. Do this every day. If you feel like you've got any problems in your lower back, lower the left knee down, lift the right leg up, lower the hip, and then lift the leg up higher. If you have any kind of disc herniation, this is going to be golden for you. And lower down. Lift the left leg up. We'll do it one more time just on this variation. And lower the hip and lift the leg up higher. If you can, come out of the shoulders a little bit. Lower the left knee down, lift the right leg up, lower the hip, and then lift the leg up higher. And then lower down. We're going to add on and do it 3 more times each side. Okay, so lift the left leg up, lower the hip, and lift the left leg up higher. Check in with your right hand. Now, this is optional. If you can, bring your right arm forward, turn the palm inward, so have the palm facing in, and then lift the chest and lift the arm and leg up without lifting that hip. And really focus on feeling this in the lumbar spine, lower down. Do you guys feel that in your lumbar spine? Yup. And then lift the right leg, lower the hip, lift the leg up higher. If you can, lift the left arm and lift both arm and leg, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and lower down. Lift the left leg, lower the hip, lift the leg up higher. Now lift the right arm and lift arm and leg. See if you can radiate the chest forward a little bit, but really focus on feeling this in your lumbar spine. And lower the knee down. Lift the right leg up, lower the hip, leg up higher. Left arm comes forward. Now lift both up. And then lower down. And we'll do it one more time each side. Lift the left leg, balance the hips now, lowering that left hip a bit, but lift that leg up higher. Now lift the right arm forward, lift both, come out of that left shoulder if you can, and then come on down. Right leg lifts, lower the hip, lift up higher, bring the left arm forward, and then lift both arm and leg. And then come on down. Really nice. Well, my friends, that brings us to the end for today. I want to just kindly remind you to check out the link so that you can start your own pain-free journey. And then that will take you to our mini course. And I actually wanted to ask a big favor. I know some of you watching have done the AYAMA course. If you've done it, if you can just leave a little comment about it, that would be really great, to tell people what your experience of doing it is and how empowered you feel in your life. And I also want to invite you to, as you're sitting down here, perhaps stand up and notice how your body feels different. Do you notice your muscles working in a better way? Maybe they're not quite 100% yet, but you can start to feel that there's possibilities of what your body can do when your muscles start working properly. Okay, my friends, namaste, and have a super wonderful day.